I feel like I've strayed too far. Does that sound familiar? It's a phrase that we've often heard ourselves say and others say. It's coming from a place where we feel like we have done so much wrong in our life that we feel like we have lost all hope for God's forgiveness and love, when that couldn't be further from the truth. If I were to tell you that phrase doesn't break my heart, that would be a bold-faced lie. It rips me to shreds. I remember this one time I went to Cricket to get my phone looked at. It was jacked up and I didn't know what was going on. And I saw this guy from church camp, and it'd been a while since I had seen him. So I asked him how he was doing and how his life was. And then I told him about my college group at church. Said that we'd love to have him. Told him about the events that we have. And his response to me was, I feel like I've strayed too far. I feel like I've done some very unredeemable acts in my life. I feel like I don't deserve God's forgiveness. I don't deserve mercy. And that hurt me to the core. Now, I know earlier I said that we all have struggled with this thought. We've all thought it. We've all thought that we've committed too many terrible deeds in our life to be forgiven, to have God's mercy, to have God's love. But I'm here to tell you that could not be further from the truth. And my proof for this is the story of Samson in Judges. Now, the reason that Samson is such a good example as to why we are redeemable and why God's love for us is never ending and why he will always care for us is that Samson was a terrible guy. There's no other way to say it. He was a terrible guy. There wasn't a redeemable ending. Things didn't get better at the ending. He was a terrible guy to the very end. But despite all that, God cared for him. God loved him. He loved him despite all the terrible things he did. Samson killed thousands in the name of his own revenge, his own vendetta. It wasn't God's will for him to kill all those people just to get revenge for himself. His revenge literally led to the death of his own family. His sins he committed led to the death of his own family. Yet despite that, we see that God takes care of him to the very end. God doesn't push him away. He still loves him. He has unconditional love. He has unconditional love for all of us. And that's hard to wrap your head around. I know. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that. I'd be lying if I said I don't struggle with that sometimes. But feel encouraged to check out Samson's story in Judges, because he does a lot of bad stuff, and I will dive into that deeper in a episode in the future. But take time to look at it on your own time. Take time to dive into it to see the story as it actually is, and take time to realize that God cared for him no matter what. Samson could have turned his life around and used his God-given gift for good at any point. God gave him all the chances in the world. Samson, he lived a double life. He claimed he was a man of God. He claimed that he took the Nazirite vow and that he was clean, when in fact that could not be further from the truth. But despite all this, God loved him unconditionally. He gave him all the chances in the world. So, look at yourself. It's important to see your mistakes. It's important to be sorry for your mistakes. But the thing is, with God and through God and only God, your mistakes are not your definer. They are not who you will be labeled as. Now, the world might label you as that, but God won't, and that's what matters. Look at Samson's story and find hope that you have not strayed too far. The only thing that will stray you too far is giving into that thought and running with it, not seeking God. I encourage you to seek God in your life and know that His love for you is unconditional. I hope you're encouraged by this message. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, leave a comment about content you want to see, and share this with somebody you feel like might be encouraged by it. But my last thing to say is, God bless you and have a good day or night whenever you're watching this.